Hello, ambitious entrepreneurs and savvy business owners. Welcome to the Business Ops Unleashed, the podcast that clears the fog off your business roadmap. I'm Shelley Criswell, your guide and director of operations, providing you with the compass to navigate the labyrinth of business strategy. From business objectives to team building, from operational efficiency to quarterly planning, we've got it all. Every week, we bring clarity to your chaos, making the complex simple and the unreachable attainable. And we do it all with a dash of wit and wisdom. So buckle up, grab your coffee, and let's make business strategy your second language. Please welcome my guest, Tehilla Aloni. She is a multifaceted entrepreneur weaving together a unique blend of experiences in business, wellness, and personal development. As the CEO of an access control company, a former Israeli national judo champion training alongside Olympic medalists, and an IDF boot camp instructor, her drive, ambition, and leadership skills have been honed to empower and inspire others. In her transformative work as a homeopath, extrasensory business consultant, and founder of Bio-Orgonomy for business, Tehilla synergizes her extensive knowledge of Kabbalah, spiritual practices, NLP, and internal martial arts, offering a holistic approach that nurtures both personal well-being and business success. Guided by her passion for helping others, she assists clients in tapping into their higher selves, aligning personal wellness with business prosperity, and breaking conscious and subconscious patterns holding them back. Hey, Tehilla, thank you so much for joining me on my podcast. I'm super excited to have you.
Thank you, Shelley. It's my pleasure. I really look forward to it.
And me too. So why don't we just start out by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your business?
Okay. I used to be the Israeli Judo champion when I was young for 7 years running. And then I injured my knee and I became a boot camp instructor in the Israeli army. And today I'm a homeopath, the CEO of an access control company and an extrasensory business consultant.
That is so cool. When you applied to be on the podcast, I listened to a few of your past podcast episodes, and I think you were on a YouTube channel or something. And your story is just so cool. I really, really enjoyed learning more about it. So I didn't know that in Israel, everyone at 18 goes into the military.
Yes, it's compulsory for men and for women. And I think it's very good for Israeli society in general because it's a good disciplinary place that really helps you grow and evolve. And I think it's very important that at least most Israelis go through that because it's definitely a stage of growth.
Yeah, I was talking to my mom about you even because I just thought you were so cool. And we were talking about how we think everyone here, I'm sure that my 18-year-old wouldn't agree, but everyone here should do that as well. I think it would be good for society in general.
Definitely. It completely changes you from a child to an adult and you get so much responsibility and you learn to deal with things on your own and it creates accountability. I think it's really good. It's not fit for everyone. For some people find it really, really challenging. But I think for most, it builds character.
Yeah, I definitely agree. My husband is retired military here in the United States. And I think it just did so much for him. And it was like the best decision he could have made to go into the military. So, and living in that military lifestyle he was in for 20 years. It's amazing. It really is amazing. And I miss it. That's for sure. And I remember you saying being a judo champion, you were all about yourself and improving yourself for so many years. And then when you got hurt and became a boot camp instructor, that you had to concentrate more on the team and team camaraderie and stuff. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. You see, the way I see it, all our experiences in life are actually there in order for us to develop our unique skill sets and bring our special, unique light into the world. And we develop in stages, just like children. The rest of our life is also can be divided into different stages of development. And the stage of development when I was an individual sportsman, was all about myself. I was focusing on myself, focused on my success. Now it built resilience in me, self-discipline, and it created lots of very good characteristics. However, when at some stage, it was enough. And that's when I didn't choose consciously to injure my knee, but that's when the universe decided that it was enough and it was time for me to injure my knee and move on. But this is in retrospect, obviously, I can say it is. And when I moved on, I became a boot camp instructor in the Israeli army, and I was working with soldiers from disadvantaged backgrounds. And these soldiers were very difficult, and they were very unappreciative, and it was basically a thankless job. But instead of being selfish like I was as an individual athlete, focused only on my success at the expense of others, because it's a zero-sum game, I was there in a position where I was completely focused on them, on the soldiers that were my responsibility. And we were sleeping 3.5, 4 hours every night, and we were with them all the time. And like I say, they weren't easy, but that definitely helped me do this flip within myself. And instead of being focused on myself, I became focused on others. And it was in a very short period of time, and it was very painful, but I succeeded to do that, thank God. And that was the next stage of my development. And from then on, I studied homeopathy. I became a homeopath, and I started working with people, helping them out. At some stage, I became a wife and a mother, which was a huge leap in my development. And I also studied Bio-Orgonomy, which is an extrasensory technique, which allows me to perceive and influence the subject that I'm focusing on. And using that extrasensory technique, I created my company, Bio-Orgonomy for Business, which helps businesswomen achieve success. By the basic premise is that in order for your business to thrive, you have to thrive. Its owner has to thrive. And the business is our baby. And when our baby is doing well, we do well. When our baby isn't doing well, we don't do well, and vice versa. We're affecting each other. And that's why it's so important to have a holistic approach to business success. So I focus on the businesswoman, and then we work on the business.
Yeah, I totally agree. You really have to take care of your mind, your body, the business, everything in order for you to be successful.
Totally. And it's often overlooked, but it seems it's quite obvious. The thing is that if you're looking short-term success, most people will sacrifice their health for short-term success. But in the long term, they're willing to do everything and pay all the money they've earned in order to get that health back. And I think it's wiser to begin with to focus on your health and grow with the business and do it right then afterwards. So try to fix and repair things which shouldn't have been, I'd say, broken to begin with, if you would have maybe chosen a better approach.
Yeah, I agree. I know it's so easy for me to be on my computer all day and then realize at the end of the day, I haven't gotten up. I haven't, really drank any water because I get so involved with sitting at my desk. So I definitely need to be more aware of that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I also, we all have a tendency, I think, when we work from a passionate place, when we to sort of get sucked into the screen, into computer, into work, and it's important to just create breaks and to take care of yourself, because, like I always say, you're your best worker. You're the number one employee. You need to take care of that employee, because if the employee takes sick leave, there goes the business.
Yeah, exactly. So can we talk a little bit about extrasensory perception and just kind of explain a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Well, according to Bio-Orgonomy and many spiritual approaches, everything has energy fields, whether it's a person, an animal, a business, a bank account, a relationship. Now, these energy fields nurture and support their subject. If these energy fields are disrupted, that's when we start seeing disease and discords in a relationship, problems in the business, money coming out of the bank account and not going in. And that's because the energy fields are disrupted. Now, what I do using Bio-Orgonomy, first of all, I diagnose energy fields and see if they're okay. And if they're not 100%, I can fix them using my extrasensory abilities. And the next stage is, once I've made sure that the foundation, everything has energy fields, it's the business, the sales department, the new prospects, new clients, new deals, everything, because like I say, everything has energy fields. Then we go on to the next stage, making sure that everything, all interests of all the stakeholders are aligned. And how can I explain that? I'll give you an example. A woman came to me and she had this business, and it seemed to be an amazing business. And she didn't understand why things weren't working out, why she wasn't making money. It had to do with these special oils, herbal oils. And when I looked with the Bio-Orgonomy energy, everything had energy fields. However, what I saw was that her husband at the time wasn't making so much money. And he was subconsciously threatened by her success. And subconsciously, he was sabotaging the business. He was preventing her business from making money. Now, I spoke to her, and what I advised her to do was to make him feel that he was part of her business also. So he was part of her success. Once she made him feel that he was part of her success and the business, subconsciously, he was no longer threatened by her success, because her success was his success. And now that her success was his success, money was coming to the business, and also their marriage and relationship naturally improved. So you see that when we send out a message to the universe, it has to be coherent. If we want to draw, we want to align ourselves with abundance. We want to align ourselves with success, with larger income. Not only what we send out, the message that we emit to the universe is important, but it's everyone that's involved with us, whether it's the people that work with us, our close family. Even if some women might have internal conflicts, especially mothers. Am I a good mother? Am I giving enough time to the business? If I give time to the business, does it come, at the expense of my children? So already these internal conflicts, they're not sending a coherent message to the universe. And obviously, if you don't send, the more coherent the messages to the universe, the more you manage to attract what you actually want. It has to be congruent with what you do and what you think and what you say. So what I do with the Bio-Orgonomy is I check that everyone's interests are aligned. And once we have that, when everyone's interests are aligned and the universe, what we resonate to the universe, what we're sending out is a coherent message. The next stage is that we can use Bio-Orgonomy and extrasensory perceptions in order to make decisions. Now, as a businesswoman, we need to make decisions all the time. Whether it's simple decisions as, what should we focus on, what to do next, which supplier we should work with, who we should hire, who we should fire, etc. And it's also decisions related to our family and our children. And using my extrasensory abilities, I help women make better decisions. Bio-Orgonomy provides extra insight, and you can make better decisions. It's like women describe it as their secret weapon. I have women going to meetings and they tell me, listen, exactly what you told us that the client would say, that's what he said. And that's how we use your strategy and we close the deal. And in other cases, I've got this woman saying, listen, you said that client would be a headache, and he's the biggest headache. And now just tell me how I should get rid of him, and next time I won't take anyone on unless you say it's good. These extrasensory abilities are very handy, very good that way.
Yeah, that is really cool. I'd never really thought about how, like my husband, for example, affect my relationship with him or whatever would affect my business. So that's very interesting to think about all the external forces as well.
Everything that's even, it's your, if you employ someone, it's their family, we're all interconnected and we all influence each other. So part of taking a holistic approach is we also want to take a positive approach. We want to rise, but we want to raise everyone else with us. And we're just looking for the right way to motivate people and to have them align with our interests and make sure that our interests are obviously also their interests. So once we're coming from a place where we want to raise everyone with, rise and raise people with us, then there is actually no conflict of interest. It's just making people understand that we want the best for everyone else. And then they cooperate. It's just finding a way to touch everyone's heart. And once you touch people's heart, that's how you can join fortunes.
Yeah, I like that. So how do you, when you meet with a client, are there certain questions that you ask to learn about like everything going on in their life? How do you do the extrasensory perception?
Well, what I do is, first of all, when I've been a homeopath for the past 20 plus years. I've also taught homeopathy for many years. So what I've noticed was then when I worked with homeopathy with women and businesswomen, before I started my company, the Bio-Orgonomy for Business, was that I saw that when a woman was taking a good homeopathic remedy, then I saw that not only did her physical, mental, and emotional symptoms improve, but she was also making more money. She was breaking subconscious and conscious patterns that were holding her back in her life or in her business. Her relationship was improving and she was aligned with abundance. And that's when I realized that homeopathy not only works on the physical, the mental, and the emotional, not only on the physical, it also works on abundance. Being healthy is also a state when you're open to receive abundance, when you're aligned with abundance. And once I understood that, I started focusing in my business with a Bio-Orgonomy, also giving Bio-Orgonomy, helping women with the extrasensory approach. But the first thing I do when I work with a woman is, first of all, I give a homeopathic remedy. And that is what I call the passive income. Once you start taking a homeopathic remedy, already things start to improve physically, mentally, and emotionally, because homeopathy doesn't work on the physical level, it works on a higher internal level. It helps you harmonize and balance. Once that you're balanced within, you see that balance is reflected in your physical, mental, and emotional levels. So I give a homeopathic remedy. I start working with her homeopathically, and that's the holistic approach. And then I add the Bio-Orgonomy, where I ask more questions which are more focused on the business. But first of all, I focus on the woman I'm working with, on her life story, on her environment, on on her likes, on her dislikes. I want to get to know her, and within an hour and a half, I want to identify all those patterns that are holding her back. And once I identify this, I can give a homeopathic remedy. By the way, there's something like 5,000 different homeopathic remedies. So I can find that one homeopathic remedy that will make this huge change. It's like finding the key to unlock all the potential, I'd say, and all the abundance within her. And once we find that key, it's like connecting a dry garden to a pipe of water. And once you connect it to the irrigation, everything just starts to grow and flourish.
I love the way you explain things. It makes so much sense. So what advice do you have for business leaders who might want to incorporate extrasensory perception into their decision-making processes?
Well, I think it's extremely important to listen to your intuition. I think your intuition is basically the voice of your higher self. And the more room you make for your intuition, the louder it becomes. It's like a child when you give it confidence, like when the child draws a picture and you say, wow, what an amazing picture, and you hang it on the wall or on the fridge, then that child would draw more. It continued to draw pictures and even more beautiful pictures. It's the same thing with your intuition. So you listen to it, you value your inner voice, and you listen to it, and it will become louder and clearer. Okay. So I think it's very, very important to incorporate intuition. And that's why I've just created this quiz. I created a quiz which helps businesswomen not only measure their intuition, but by merely taking the quiz, they're already improving their intuition. I've created the quiz in this way using everything I've learned from NLP, spiritual studies, Kabbalah, etc., in order to create a quiz that already starts working on you as you take it. And I think that every businesswoman should be aware of her intuitive powers and listen to them. And that will help and improve her make better decisions, because from my experience, women who are connected to their intuition and use it make better business decisions. And decisions in general, not only in business, but in their personal life as well.
Yeah, that's something I've definitely been trying to work on the last few years, is listening to my intuition and not questioning it and leaning into it a little bit more. So I definitely want to take your quiz. That sounds very interesting. I'll have to link to it in the show notes.
Great. I think I've really made this quiz because I think it's so important that women connect. And I think that's a good place to start with. And then later there is videos, and I want to be giving women tips on how to connect to their intuition and their higher self. I think that the more we connect to our intuition, because our intuition is the voice of our soul, and our soul is aware, has a higher awareness, then once we are actually operating from a place which has a higher awareness, our choices are better. And by making better choices, we're actually elevating ourselves and our surrounding. It's all about rising and raising. So if you think about doing things from a higher place where it's a win-win, when you come to do business from a place where you want everyone to benefit, and you come from a win-win perspective, especially in the business world, it's where people, I'd say it's in a way, it's the densest place, because money is a soft spot for everyone.
Yes.
When you see how, people are measured, their character is measured by how they deal with money. And if we manage to bring a higher perspective to the way we handle money, that's how we can raise the entire consciousness of the world. But we start with our surrounding.
You mentioned Kabbalah, and I read somewhere that you like to incorporate that into your business. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So Kabbalah is the Jewish spirituality. And one of the basic ideas in Kabbalah is that there's a light and there's a vessel. Okay, so the light is the light of the infinite God, and we are vessels. And the stronger, purer, and larger the vessel is, the more light it can contain and the more light it can bring into the world. So our aim is basically to focus on developing our vessels. So we develop our vessels through our lifestyles, the choices we make, what we say, how we deal in business, and how we deal with the people around us, what we eat. All of these things affect our vessels. So what we want to focus on is making choices which will strengthen and purify and increase the size of our vessels in our lives. And that's by being mindful and making good choices.
That's nice. I like that. So how do you work with clients? Is it just one-on-one, or do you have coaching programs?
Well, I work with women one-on-one because the whole idea is individualization. It's a very, very personal program. I have a program which is called Effortless Financial Freedom and Weight Loss for Businesswomen. It's a 3-month foundation program with a holistic approach. And by the way, it has a full money back guarantee because I'm so confident in what I do and confident in the success of the woman that I choose to work with. And this is when I take on a businesswoman And like I said, I give her a homeopathic remedy, and I start working with her with the Bio-Orgonomy and the homeopathic remedy. And this provides an all-encompassing sort of solution to both her personal and business challenges and life. And why I call it effortless, because it doesn't require any active effort in changing one's lifestyle or one's diet. It's just once you align using the homeopathy and the work I do, things just naturally happen. Women tell me, I've been trying 3 years to eat healthier, do exercise, and now I do it. And why is that? Because the healthier you are, your choices, are better for you, meaning you naturally desire things that are good for you. Like the definition of disease is when someone actually wants something that's very harmful for them. Like when someone a diabetic who wants to eat sugar, or if someone wants to smoke, for instance, that means that he's unhealthy because his desires and his needs are not aligned. However, the healthier person is, there's an alignment between their desires and their needs. So they naturally tend to do things. It doesn't require effort because the force comes from inside. I don't believe in diets that are magneted to your fridge, and then every time you have to look and see, what you're supposed to eat or what you're allowed to eat. Because when you're healthy, say you need potassium, then you naturally want to eat a banana. Or if you need iron, so you're naturally inclined to eat iron-rich foods. So your body already knows how to direct you to make these choices. It's like the inner voice, just like the inner voice directs you to make better business choices. So it's all about aligning yourself and strengthening that inner voice and then making better, healthier choices.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So do you have something free that you would like to give the audience? Is it the quiz that you spoke about earlier?
Yeah, it's the quiz. Like it starts with the quiz, and later on, I have videos and tips that I send to the audience if they want, of course, where I share more tips and I teach more about connecting to your intuition and your higher self.
I love it. I've really enjoyed my conversation with you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I really wish you all the best and continue to do the amazing work that you do and bringing your special light into the world.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thanks.
And that wraps up another episode of Business Ops Unleashed. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you're leaving with some fresh insights and actionable steps to take your business to the next level. Remember, success isn't a destination, it's a journey, and I'm here to accompany you every step of the way. If you've enjoyed our time together, don't forget to subscribe, and if you could leave a review, it'd make my day. You can also connect with me on my website, Chriswell Solutions, or follow me on LinkedIn for additional content. Until next time, keep aiming high, planning strategically, and remember, strategy is not just about where you're going, but how you'll get there. I'm Shelly Chriswell, signing off.